think I did.
Asking you whether, like, are you happy? Because
Oh, I thought you meant the lighting, but I like it. It's nice.
we live. Oh, yes, we are live. Hi.
I like how you're smiling. You're like, we're alive.
Okay.
Cute. I love it.
Benja, we are live. You're in our video. Gosh, this is
Come,
hilarious.
come, my leaves up. We're now live. Like, disappear.
Guys. Okay. So we are 39 seconds in. I was thinking maybe in the meantime we can just, are you able to get our link so that we can just like post it on our WhatsApp status and then that we are live?
Let me quickly put it on WhatsApp. I have the link. I can quickly post it on WhatsApp.
Okay, and then you just quickly send it to me. This is gonna play if anybody is going to like watch our video this 1 minute. So let me just apologize in advance. This is our first time doing a live. So we are pretty much trying to figure out how this is done. I think so far so good. So we're just trying to let everybody know that we are live officially so that they can tune in and so that we can engage and talk about what we have in store for you today. But in the meantime, welcome to the Kiliki and Khalaya YouTube channel. Khalai YouTube channel.
I'm here trying to share the link. Give me like a minute.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sure.
Da, da, da.
I'm just gonna take a picture as well. Okay, I'm gonna shade quickly on my socials. So I'm not on Instagram for now, just temporarily. So I can't even share that. Okay, we are live. Okay, great.
Okay.
Let us start. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Okay, well, great. It is officially 2 minutes and 44 seconds on my side, and we shall start. Yes, Sylvia, would you like to start this live for us?
I like how you always put me on the spot. Whenever we need to start, you're like, okay, Sylvia. Well, hello. Let's start with greetings. Hi, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome to our channel. It's been a minute. So we thought we'd pop back on here and have a little fun discussion. I'm pretty sure, no, people probably don't know us. So I'm Halai. My friend here is Kiliki. We started this channel a while back to kind of share some of the discussions we tend to have amongst ourselves. And one day we just thought, oh, this is relatable. Like we should share this. Maybe other people might relate to what we're going through or what we share. So hence the beginning of this channel. So as I mentioned, I'm Halai and this is Kiliki. And our topic for today is decolonizing beauty standards. And we're going to reflect on our journey and how we've kind of, I don't know, changed our perspective on beauty standards, how we've accepted ourselves, found ourselves beautiful through this whole process. Yeah, so that's like the main topic that's up for discussion. Anything else you want to add before we get into it?
Yeah, no, you have summarized it perfectly. And so this is really just our experience, and I think we are mindful that the globe is quite huge. And so as you listen to our experiences, I need you, or we need you to really have our context in mind as well, because context is important whenever we discuss anything, especially around decolonization, especially around what is this beauty. And so maybe just a little bit of context, and maybe and this is actually how we're going to start off this discussion, is really unpacking what decolonizing beauty standard means, but specifically in our context and personally. So both Kalai and myself live in Namibia. We are Namibians. um, and so we have grown up in an environment with a history of apartheid. Namibia was colonized by Germany and then white South Africans, and so we have a history of, you know, apartheid where people were segregated based on their color, white colored and black, and depending on your like closeness to whiteness. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a whole thing. This is not a history lesson, but just to say that that history has reinforced, and it has cemented what it means to be beautiful. But I think beyond that historical context, we also grew up in a very like Hollywood environment, where most of the TV shows that we watched were very much not African or not Namibian. They're very much Hollywood based. And so what we're seeing on television did not look like what, our realities. It didn't look like us. The people on
Yeah.
TV didn't look like us. If we look
Mhm.
at even the storybooks of Cinderella
Yeah.
and Snow White, I grew up not knowing any princesses that looked like me. The TV shows, what is this? Barbie girl, I'm a Barbie girl, da 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 da. All those nice TV shows, they didn't look like us. And
Yeah.
so I think for us, we grew up in an environment where while we were in that environment and everybody around us looked like
Mhm.
us, what we were feeding on did not reflect our reality.
Mhm.
And so I feel like we had not two opposing, but like on the one hand, you have, you know, um, mainstream Hollywood, TV, radio, storybooks, even our educational system that is very much
Mm.
cemented, that is very much still linked into like colonial thinking. And then on the
Yeah.
other hand, you have people that have gone through almost a century actually of apartheid and colonialism, and their identity, their their culture, their,
Yeah.
the people that they love were literally erased, removed, and stolen as a result of colonialism. They were told that they were nothing. They were told to um love or appreciate other races than themselves. And
Mhm.
so these are like two things that I had to grow up with. And so for
Yeah.
me, going back to the question, I think decolonizing beauty standards, I think for me is really looking at loving myself, appreciating myself, and knowing that I matter. Like I matter. I am a person of value. I
Mhm.
just as beautiful, just as worth it, just as like
Yeah.
anybody, like anybody else on this world. I think it's
Mhm.
appreciating the coils of my hair, is
Yeah.
appreciating my complexion, is
Yeah.
appreciating my nose is not
Yeah.
pointed, because like that's the
Yeah.
standard,
Yeah.
skinny,
Yeah.
light, straight
Mhm.
hair. That's the standard. My dolls had straight hair. I never
Yeah.
had a doll that had my hair. So it's really just unlearning what it means to be me in
Mhm.
today's world. I think,
Mhm.
yeah, that's what decolonizing is unlearning, and learning and relearning the beauty of who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
100% agree. You said everything I wanted to say at this
Oh,
point in time.
sorry. I got carried away a little bit, but because I'm just like this.
It's all good. A way It's a great way to break the ice and open up the
Yeah.
discussion. And I agree with basically everything you've already mentioned. I think the one thing that stands out for me is the lack of representation. And again, of course,
Mm,
this dates back to colonial times. Certain features are put on a pedestal, and that's what we see in the
mm,
media. And the media influences so much of our perception on certain things.
yeah.
So, I mean, when you're constantly being shown these images of what is beautiful and it is a white woman with blonde
Mm,
hair and a slim
mm,
nose, definitely
mm,
you're also going to think like, oh, okay, so am I not beautiful with my darker complexion and my curlier
mm,
hair and So I think the media definitely is the main reason why we've kind of gotten into this mindset of, oh, okay, I'm not beautiful. And on top of that, I think also within the Black community, colorism also comes into play there. Because even within the Black context, there's still this division of what is sort of classified as beautiful. And even within that, do you meet those standards of what is
yeah.
beautiful? So I
Mm,
think, yeah, it's a process. It has been a process of unlearning that, like disassociating a certain type of person with beauty. And I think for me, my main struggle, not even just being Caucasians that are beautiful, but I think for me, what really hits home is within the Black community of what is regarded as beautiful. I think that for me was my biggest struggle growing up. And it's
mm,
been a process to kind of like unlearn it. It's kind of like,
mm,
what's the opposite of neo-colonialism, where you're trying to like deconstruct all of what you've been told, to regard
mm,
as beautiful, and sort of relearning your own definition of, okay, you know what, actually, I am beautiful. I look different, and that's okay. Like, it's perfectly fine. It's regarded as
mm,
beautiful as well. So,
mm.
yeah, that's my sort of like take on the decolonization. It's a mind shift. It's honestly a complete mind shift.
Yeah. And I do think it's not just as easy as like a switch where you switch on and switch off, like, okay, now I'm like a decolonized babe, I love myself, I appreciate everything, because we're social beings and we feed off from our environment. And so I think even within the Black community, yes, we do have colorism, but colorism still links back to like proximity to Caucasian. It's like your proximity to whiteness. It's like,
Yeah.
that's why we have things in Namibia like yellow bone
um,
and it's that. It's your
yeah.
proximity to what is the overall perception of what beauty is. And so
Hmm.
I think there's really like that one aspect, light skin versus dark skinned individuals. I remember growing up, if sometimes when I go to the village for holidays and stuff like that, you come back like 10 because you're in the sun, you're playing.
Doing
And
its thing.
yes, and then some people will make comments like, "Oh, you got so dark. Oh my goodness, you look ugly." Or if you're too
Mhm.
dark, then people would ask you, "Are you not feeling well?" And indirectly, like those comments, even without Hollywood and all of these things, this
Yeah, yeah.
comment tell you that being darker is bad, being
Mm.
being dark is like sickness, it's a sickness. But like
Mm.
I didn't choose to look like this. I didn't like I literally, this is how I came out from my mother's
Yeah.
womb.
No,
now i
no
have
say in the matter.
now I have to try and avoid the sun, colleagues.
Come out
because
with the umbrella.
there's no way, because if I get darker, then I'm not beautiful. And even like at
Yeah.
school, you get bullied for being darker, you get bullied
Mm.
for not having the beauty standards that everybody has embraced. And
Yeah.
so it doesn't just end at watching television in your home, it extends to
Yeah.
like in your school settings. I mean, even educational policies, they are anti-black, they are anti-us, because
Mm,
if I mean, looking at like certain schools in Namibia, most schools in Namibia, I'm not going to mention names, but in some schools in Namibia, they police how we do our hair. They police what black people should do with our hair, whether it's cornrows, you should only have 10 cornrows. You should, all girls should cut off their hair because, apparently hair distracts
mm,
children. Um,
yeah.
even like educational policies do not even allow us to manipulate and play around our hair and dye our hair, because, well, it is not professional. In professional setups, having an afro was something that was frowned upon. I think now it's getting better, but it was something that was frowned upon. And so
Yeah.
I we have to fight also these policies that are very much cemented in like anti-blackness and colonial thinking, that anything that is about how we naturally look and how we operate in the world is
Mm,
terrible.
mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
What's your take on that?
completely agreed. And I think you rightly said that a lot of what we take in also is affected by who we're socializing with, who we're engaging with. That definitely does influence your viewpoint, your opinions. But I think for me, one of the points, and maybe I'm jumping ahead, but one of the things that sort of helped change that narrative is
Mm,
seeing that representation in the media, not just seeing it in the media, but seeing, I feel like as we've gotten older, there's been sort of like this there's been a change, right? And I don't know
mm,
if it's heavily dependent on because the media has now started portraying darker skinned women as beautiful. But I've noticed that within society or within friends, people that I encounter, it's now this thing of like, it's the African features, the darker skin tones, they're more accepted now, which is beautiful to witness because I feel like when we
mm.
were younger, especially when we were younger,
I
it was so
Kura,
different. Like when we were growing up,
it
I
was
feel like
rough.
the kids of today, I think, are going to grow up in such a different environment within the African context, in such a
Mm,
different environment compared to like what we grew up in. Because I can tell you for sure, when I was like in grade 7 or 8, somebody regarding my skin tone as beautiful would not happen.
yes.
So it's nice to see that there has been a shift. I don't know
Mm,
how much of a shift. I guess I'm just narrating this within my interactions, but it's good to
mm,
see. Like, I like the fact that there is that shift. And we
mm,
are embracing the darker tones, sometimes even the fuller figures, the wider
mm,
noses. Like it's really, really nice to see. And somebody mentioned once on social media that, this whole embracing darker skinned women or like the more African features is like a trend. Like it might just like
mm,
end, which I genuinely hope is not the case. I hope this is here to stay.
mm,
Because I think it's about time, even for our children, like I definitely would want my kids to grow up in a world where they're perceived as beautiful. They don't feel less than or excluded. So
mm.
I hope it's something that's permanent. It's here to stay.
Yeah, it should, because we are here to stay. I think
Yeah,
how we look, it shouldn't be a trend, because it's not like we can change ourselves. It's not like
yeah,
we can wake up the next day and decide to be lighter or be whatever that the
yeah,
media dictates, or whoever has the power to dictate. And the sad part is that I think it always changes also. Like, this beauty standards is not constant, because in the
ooh, constantly.
in the past, overall beauty, mainstream beauty standard was you should be thin, and and now it's like you should have some curves and have some booty, and have a small waist, and that was not the case before. And so
Yeah,
for me, it's chasing beauty standards will never give you satisfaction, because the thing is that just when you now, decide, when you now have curves, and tomorrow they'll
Mhm.
be like, actually curves are boring, we are going back to like a size zero,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's like it. And then 5 years later, actually we want curves, actually, so then it's like, colleagues, this body that God has given me to
You're gonna have to keep
experience the
changing
joy, I can't put it into like this,
a box.
a box that is constantly changing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
at some point, you have to just like have an honest conversation with yourself, and
Yeah.
and define what beauty is to you. And I think for
Yeah.
me, that's what really, really helped me. I think more than seeing representation, I think for me, education really helped me, because number one, the educational system in my country, in our country, was is not helping me, because it never really taught me about like black beauty, or like black liberation, or like in a way that is empowering. Other than like,
Yeah.
yes, there was slavery. I'm talking about in a way that is empowering. It never really
Mhm.
taught me like things that I can appreciate and be like, oh, okay, wow, these people made medicine, their own medicine, and they did this.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. This is what beauty is within the Black community, defining it within the Black
Yeah.
community. It was not really, maybe it was, but not to an extent where I really understood it growing up. And I
Yeah.
think later on in life, I educated myself in terms of history. I educate myself. How did we get here? How is it that we just all
Mhm.
decided that a particular complexion, hair color, eye color is better than the, I had to educate myself on that. But more
Yeah.
so, I had to educate myself on what, like, in our own like understanding of like what beauty is, but also like our own power and our own beauty, without the lens of other people, in our
Yeah.
through our own lens. Who are we? What makes
To
us
ourselves.
amazing, what makes us beautiful. And I think for
Yeah.
me, that education is really what helped me accept myself. It's what helped me love myself. Even understanding patriarchy and like the male gaze, like just I remember even with my body growing up, I used to be very uncomfortable with my body, because, it's not the body that is in the media or what people perceive to be perfect. And
Yeah.
again, I have to ask myself, but why do I need this perfect body? For whom? For what?
Mhm. Mm.
So, and so really having that honest conversation, and critical thinking, and really questioning like the status quo. Like, why is this? Why am I doing this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm not happy with the answer. Am I doing this for the male gaze? Because I did grow up in an environment that enforces like the attention and the whatever of male gaze.
Yeah.
I grew up in a patriarchal society, so like I had to really deconstruct that type of thinking as well, and be like, where do I stand in all of this? What do I want in my life? What what is beauty for me? And I think
Yeah.
once I've really unpack that for myself, I started growing in my journey to self love. And I say growing because I don't think I'm there yet. I think I think self acceptance and self love is a journey. In some days you're like, hey, and then other days you're a little bit down, but like it's a journey where, what, every day, step by step, we are doing us. We are doing me. We are loving ourselves. We are accepting ourselves, and we're
Yeah.
appreciating who we are.
Yeah, no, agreed. And I can echo the sentiments in that it really is a journey. And sometimes you feel like you've made so much progress and you find
Mm.
yourself having a negative thought and you're like, wait,
Ah,
am I like taking like 5 steps back? Why am I having these thoughts?
yes.
Just to understand that it really is a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes time. It takes also the initiative to educate yourself, like you said.
Yes.
It's unfortunate that we kind of need to you need to go out of your way to kind of get this information and sort of
Yes.
open yourself to that, because it's not something that's just going to be presented to you. But once you overcome that and you start that process, it's the best thing. It's the best thing not to have to worry, oh, what are men going to think if I don't look like X, or if my hair, or if it's so liberating. Honestly, it's so liberating, and it gives you, at least for me, gave me like a new sense of like self-confidence.
Mm,
There's a certain way you carry yourself now, and it's this thing of, it will not bother you if somebody kind of rejects you or does not appreciate your appearance or how you look, because within yourself, like, irregardless, I'm beautiful. You're
mm,
not seeking that validation from outside because you already have it. But like, constantly, if you're in a state where you're constantly seeking that validation, you're so vulnerable and you're so insecure, because every negative comment, or that comes your way, you like shut down. So I
mm.
think it's really important. It's really important that we raise our daughters, maybe our sons as well, to learn to
Definitely
like
ones
have that
too.
validation, yeah, from within. Do not seek it from anywhere else. Tell your children they are beautiful, tell them that they are worth it. And also, I really like the fact that nowadays, and I feel like I keep going back to socials, because I feel like for me it played such a big role in how I view
Yes.
myself. But
Mm,
nowadays, like, you find they're black princesses, they're cartoons that have like characters that are as dark as us, which is so nice, because you're already teaching children from that young age, like, you matter and you are
mm,
being represented.
mm,
So it probably lessens that load when they get older, of now they have to start, under, like, trying to find themselves, trying to really identify what is beautiful, as opposed to like being told from the beginning, like, you know what, you are beautiful, you are being represented in the media, this is you, like, you look like
mm,
this, and it is beautiful. So yeah, no, like, 100% agree. It's such a journey. It's such a journey.
mm. Yeah. No, it
Process.
is really. It is. It is. It is. So I think I was just thinking also, and I don't know whether you're comfortable speaking on that. How has been your experience, like, especially with like I think of course with these like dark skin versus like, not versus, but you know what I'm trying to say. I don't want to make like it's a competition. Dark skin versus but it's always like, especially when you're like the darkest amongst maybe your friends, or like in your class, or um in your environment sometimes, and with the anti-blackness and anti-darkness that we have in our society. um have you experienced anything that, like, that was just like, okay, um that was just hating, or
Yeah, yeah.
your complexion or anything like that?
Girl, where can I even start? Because, like, but I feel like a lot of that, of course, happened when I was younger, right?
Yeah.
Um, of course, like, I don't blame people who teased me, or who, because I'm like, it's ignorance. Like, you don't know any better. And then again, you the ideal of what is beautiful has been portrayed a certain way. And when you're young, you're
Mm,
impressionable, so you don't know any better. So I would
mm,
say the bullying and whatnot happened a lot when I was maybe in my
younger.
teen.
Mm,
But I feel like as I got older, probably well into my 20s, that's when now darker skinned women or people started being represented in the media. We have Lupita Nyong'o, we have the
mm.
Sudanese models that are now all over
Oh,
the place.
yes. Oh, yes.
Yes. So when that started happening for me, I would say that's when I started to see a shift. Whereas
Mm,
before, where when I was younger, I would be teased about and it was so weird. It was so weird for me because I would be teased about being as dark skinned as I am, to now it's the one thing I get complimented on the most. So it's like a
mm.
complete I remember this one girl on Instagram. She was like, you know what? She's also like one of these dark skin models. She's like, it's our time to shine because for
Yes.
years been put. A rock, we've been
Yes.
teased, we've been tortured. Now look at us. Now she even went as far as saying like even the guys that didn't want her before, now they're all in her DMs. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
now they're all like, "What's up?"
I'm like, okay, girl, good for you. But yeah, no, it's such a transition. And like I mentioned earlier, like definitely now the way I carry myself is so
Mm,
different from the way like 13-year-old me or 14-year-old me was sort of navigating the world.
yeah.
And like sometimes I think like, so this is what it feels like to just be confident in yourself and not
Oh,
have to feel insecure.
so
I'm like,
nice.
this is what it feels like. I'm like, oh, I wish like this happened sooner.
It's
uh,
so nice.
yeah, like it's so liberating, girl. That's why I'm like, if I ever have a daughter, trust and believe from the get go, I will be definitely assuring her that she is beautiful and she is accepted and she is wanted in society, you know?
Mm,
Because ah, as much as like for me now, like I'm happy, like in the current state I'm so happy. But I feel like there's some people that
mm,
still are stuck in that, like they haven't accepted themselves. Then you have people bleaching
yeah,
themselves and trying to get lighter and whatnot. So when I look back, I'm like, I'm glad I didn't go down that path where
yeah.
I reached a point where I feel like I need to alter my skin because it's not, it looks like it's not being accepted, it's not regarded as beautiful. So yeah, like it's been such a long journey. But I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that, you know, things have changed. The ideal of what is beautiful has changed. I've also done the work to reflect and accept myself for who I am. Because that
Mm,
has also played a definite role.
yeah. And to be fair, we were younger, I think, like what does a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old know about color
Exactly.
and and all of
Exactly.
that? But I must say, I think for the audience, I I I was taking care of my niece, and she's 12 years old, and she's turning 13 years old this year. And she's dark skinned, like darker than me. I think probably even darker than you, Sylvia. Yeah,
Really?
she's very, like, no, yeah, almost. She has a very beautiful complexion, and one of her classmates, particularly boys and some girls, were making fun of her complexion that she's dark, and she said, "Yes, I'm dark and beautiful. What are you gonna do about it?"
Ooh,
She told
thank you.
this girl is 12 years old. She came to tell me at home. And I hugged her and I'm like, girl, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of, but of course, like, I was proud of her, and like I told her, yes, of course, that's a good response. But I still took it upon, like, with a teacher. I called
Yeah.
the teacher the next day and I'm like, no, my daughter told me
Being that parent.
that this is what she's experiencing at school, and I do not condone bullying, especially as it relates to, like, skin color, um gender, etc. And like I need, like, those, the kids, like, I need you
Yeah.
to talk to those kids, and if it still continues, I want their parents involved. Like, that's
Yeah.
how, like, I took it very serious. And so
Yeah. No, which
and
is good. Which is good.
And so it's just so amazing that I think, looking at, like, the younger kids now, I think they are definitely at a better, like, position than we were, because
Yeah.
they're appreciating also themselves more, and they know how to, like, respond to such things. And I think also
Yeah.
their parents also not taking, any BS
Yeah.
any longer, because the
Yeah.
parents are also standing up and, like, listen here, you're not going to
Mm.
make my child or say anything negative
Yeah.
about the beauty of my child. And that's
Yeah.
really beautiful to see. And that's
No,
really beautiful to see.
it
So yeah, i
is.
think i think the parents are also, I think we are also shifting, because I
Yeah.
remember, even like with the dolls, we went to ShopRite and she wanted a doll, and I'm like, how now they have, like, different colored
Yeah.
dolls,
Dolls.
and the
Mm.
only dolls that were there were like white dolls. And I'm like, we're not buying those. We're not
I want
buying
to
a
buy.
doll that does not look like you. Because subconsciously, like these things, they subconsciously, like not directly but indirectly, like they send out a message to your subconscious brain. And
Yeah.
so like just being intentional about the type of books your kids read, the type
Mm,
of dolls, the type of like environment your kids are staying in, having
yeah.
diverse friends, and having, I think also friends, making sure that your kids also have friends that, that somehow they believe, like their parents also teach them about, diversity and the beauty of everybody, and they're not bullying, or they're not like reinforcing all these negative ideologies about who we are. And
Yeah.
so, yeah,
Yeah, no, true. Definitely. It starts at home. The moment
it starts
you,
at home.
yeah, you validate your child in the home, they will be so confident out there. That's why your niece was so confident to say yes. And like, what are
Bruh,
you?
when she told me, and she had like this sass, like I told her, like, and I'm like, girl.
Yeah, no, which is really good. I feel like especially us who are now going to be parents, our generation
Yeah.
who have had to like live through those experiences, we're definitely
Mm,
going to make sure we do our best to ensure our kids don't go through the same, go through the
trauma.
same experiences.
Mm,
And I don't know. I hope that this ends with this generation. I hope like going forward, like this narrative, this is the point that this narrative should change.
mm.
And we should be accepting of various different shades, hair textures, whatever it may be, and should still
Body,
be
yeah.
regarded as beautiful. Yeah, exactly. I think that's one of the reasons why nowadays I tend to drift towards films that have black characters because
Mhm,
it's so difficult to
mm,
see a character that you can relate to. Yeah, so let's hope that this shift like is a permanent shift in this
mm,
narrative of what is actually beautiful. And I think we are just starting that process of decolonizing the ideal of what is beautiful. We're
mm,
rewriting it to include
mm,
us as beautiful, include us in that description of what is termed as beautiful, which is it's nice to witness. It's so refreshing to
mm,
see.
mm. Yeah, no, it is really. It is. It is. Yeah. Okay, let
Oh,
me
I had
check.
wanted to ask you a question
Yeah, sure. Ask me.
before we continue. Your colorism experience, because you're not dark
Yeah.
skin, but like I remember you mentioning that you still had some like instances where you still had like
Yeah.
negative experiences with that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I'm like, so the thing is that even like the concept of dark skin, it depends like where you are. So because like I think in my environment, I'm dark skinned, like, so depending on like who's
Yeah,
also around you, it
yeah,
determines like, okay,
true.
whether you are
I,
classified as dark skinned or like you're classified as what. Like I'm not light. That is definitely, I can never be called yellow bone. Never, because I'm
mhm.
not. Um, I think for me, my experience really has been. I think it has been the same with you. I think not to the extent of like being bullied at school, because I think there were darker people at school, and I think they got the bully. But
Right.
I
Yeah.
was also not the lightest, so I didn't get the light privileges. I was just the girl.
I
And
guess, yeah,
so,
yeah. You don't quite get bullied and you don't get the attention, so you're just there.
yes, but my aspiration was to be in the other camp, to be the lighter girl, because I
Yeah,
saw how everybody loved the lighter
yeah,
girl. I saw how everybody thought the lighter girl was beautiful. I saw
yeah,
how they were treated, and I'm like, listen, I want to I want to enjoy that. I want a piece of that. Okay, a piece of that.
yeah.
And so to be fair, growing up, I used to be afraid of the sun, because I'm like, oh gosh, I can't get like dark.
Mm,
um
yeah.
and I used to like do some really really interesting things to like help me get lighter. I don't know whether this example that I even want to share is is fitting for social media. So I think I'll tell you separately. It's not something that I want to share publicly, but
Okay.
I did try and join the other group,
Camp.
um just so that like I can also like I think it's like trying to fit in, you know,
Yeah.
trying to belong, trying the feeling of like trying to be wanted and loved and appreciated.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is that sometimes even when you are loved and appreciated at home, you don't spend the whole day at home. You go outside, you relate to your classmates, you relate to your teachers, you relate to your friends outside, and so that also has an impact on you even though you are getting all you need at home. Sometimes when the environment rejects you,
Yeah.
it does affect you, whether your parents, you know,
Yeah.
tell you that you are beautiful or you're not, or you, that you're beautiful. Of course that helps. It helps that at least at home you are accepted and people are telling you you're beautiful. It really helps because then just imagine being rejected outside and also being rejected in your house.
Yeah.
um so yeah, no, I
Mm,
did, I think I did want to be in the other group of being light, and I could never join that group because like I can't change my color. Um
experience. Yeah.
Even if I try to run away from the sun, I can't. There's nothing
Anything
I can change.
very
And
true.
so I think to me, for me to be honest, what really liberated me is education, just trying to understand. But where did this thing come from? How
Yeah.
come we just decided that only this group is beautiful? How come we
Yeah.
just decided that only straight hair is acceptable? How come?
Mm,
So when I started educating myself in that, it really helped me. And then I think also religion, like God, also like helped me, because when I read scriptures of like you are the head and not the tail, that you are made in the likeness of God, I, you know, those scriptures really also helped like help me believe and understand that, you know what, I'm beautiful. And I think even taking it a step further, I think for me it's even like it's even me saying, listen, yeah, for me my God is black, you know.
yeah.
uh, my God looks like me, like my God made me in this beauty. And so like,
Yeah.
you know, like just taking it like, listen here, I'm everything, like i
Mm,
I belong, you
yeah.
know, and I'm not a foreigner in any setting.
Mm-hmm.
And so understanding that within myself and educating myself and doing the work like you did, I think it really helped me shift my mindset. And right now, I don't wish and aspire to be anybody else but me.
Yeah. It's
And it's
perfect.
liberating, it's free. When I walk around the the streets, I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like I need even my fashion style and what I decide to do with my hair. I
Yeah.
don't feel like I need to prove myself to anybody. Yes, there are
Mm-hmm.
times that I would probably like, you know, straighten out my hair, but it's not from a place of trying to look like somebody.
Yeah.
It's not from a place of hate, self-hate. It's from a place of, you know, I love myself and I'm trying out different styles with my hair, or I'm being experimental. I'm
Yeah.
not doing it from a place of self-hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is so important. I feel like the moment you are doing things from a place of I don't like how I look, so I'm altering it, it's so different from I just want to change.
Mm,
Um this thing of the age old, oh, women, black women wearing weaves or straighter hair means you hate your hair. And I'm like, no, I don't hate my hair. I just want to change up my look every once in a while, you know?
versatile.
Yeah, I just want to be versatile. And I guess for some people, like it's such a political statement, like you're wearing an afro or you're choosing to wear weeds. I don't know. I think it becomes, like you said, it definitely just becomes problematic when it's coming from a place of self hate. That's all.
Yeah.
Like if you do the work, if you love yourself, you accept yourself, There's nothing wrong with it. And I like
Yeah.
what you said. Trying to assimilate, trying especially as you get older, wanting to fit in, wanting to be loved, wanting to be accepted. I think is like the basis for a lot of
Mm,
a lot of issues that we have around our appearance, how we perceive ourselves. It really does, for me, I think, come down to that simple fact of like, as a human in society, you want to be loved and
mm,
accepted, like
that's
peers, by
okay.
your community.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it's so complex. It's such a
It
complex thing.
is. It is. But I'm happy that like we have a community that I think shares the same beliefs as ourselves. Like we are friends, and even like looking at our other friends and our family, I think we are surrounded like in community where people are actively also like loving themselves and just doing them. And so
Yeah,
that is also really supportive because I think as Africans we understand the important role of community, and so you can't live on your own and be like, I love myself
yeah,
and alone. No, we appreciate and we love community. And so when you're in community of people on the same journey, or people that really just are doing them and they're just like really not commenting on on like your complexion, not commenting on your hair, da, 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 da. I
yeah,
think it's really, it helps. It's liberating. It does help in just continuing on this journey and just living your life.
yeah, yeah.
This life is not even like, this life is like, you know what, it's just leave it, just live your life.
Trivial
This
things in the
body
grand
is just,
scheme.
exactly, and this body is just there to carry you. It's like a
Yeah,
vehicle.
yeah,
I'm not my body. I I live within my body.
in your
um
body.
exactly. So
Yeah,
I'm more than my body. I'm more than my complexion. Like, yes, those things do
yes,
have
for sure, for sure.
some role on like who I am, but I'm more than that. I am much more than that. I am like beautiful. I have great ideas. Oh, Sylvia, I think are you still here, Sylvia? Hello?
The network is like, you guys need to wrap it up because
Okay,
you've been
yes, we
talking.
are 47 minutes in. So maybe this is a sign. God is like, okay, girls, this, you have been speaking for 47 minutes now. So
I
we need
I
to
didn't.
wrap it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just stop there. In conclusion,
To sum it up.
to sum it up,
Closing statements.
what are your closing statements, Madam Khalai?
Oh, I don't know. Like, first of all, decolonizing beauty standards, some mind shift. It's a process that is very individualistic. You need to be very intentional about educating yourself, about surrounding yourself with people, images that uphold you. Um, I don't know, like having that support is very, very important. And how far we've come now, may this continue. May
Mm,
we not backslide to where we were, where we
possibly
were
so.
10 years ago or so. Please, please no. And just to say that once you reach that point where you don't seek validation from outside, where you truly believe that you are beautiful, it's so liberating. And I hope that everyone gets to experience that, no matter what you look like.
Yeah.
And like you said, like, this state which we are in now is momentary. Like, your body is a vessel or a vehicle. And now
Mhm.
that I'm thinking about it, like in the grander scheme of things, it's
Yeah.
like a smaller aspect of the
Yeah,
whole thing. But
exactly.
yeah, but yeah, no, my main thing is like, I just wish everyone can come to that point where they have that self acceptance and they can just be liberated. I think that's my main sort of message and my main takeaway as well.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And I think for me, I just want to say it's not your fault that you don't love yourself or you hate yourself or you think being dark is not beautiful, being a certain body size is not beautiful, um, being, whatever form that you're in, whatever form, shape, color that you're in is not beautiful, it's not your fault because the world keeps on telling you that you are at fault. It's you are the the villain, but actually you're the victim of a society that rejects like diverse beauty. And so I think if you are planning on starting this journey, I think coming from a place that listen here, I'm a victim of this like systematic, complex, intentional, because I do think this like anti-blackness is an intentional system that was designed to put us to continue keeping certain populations down. When you realize
Mm.
that you're a victim of this system, and that it's not your fault, and that you can then start unpacking and relearning and unlearning what it means to be beautiful, then like you'll be fine, and you won't see yourself as a
Yeah,
project. You won't see yourself as like, even when you fall down, when tomorrow you are body shaming yourself, then it's not a thing of like, oh, I'm such a terrible person, I thought I was good. No, it's just the reality of like, listen, you're a victim of a system, and now you're just trying to learn and grow, and be the better version of yourself. And I think for me, I just wanted to lay that out to say,
yeah,
listen, you're doing the best that you can, and this is not your fault. Secondly, is I do think
yeah,
the journey to self acceptance and self love is one that is intentional, like Hadlai mentioned. And so you will need to really educate yourself and read books from diverse people. I particularly books by people that have gone through what you have gone through, people that look like you, people that
yeah,
have the same experiences from a similar environment. But more than books is also just being
yeah,
intentional about the type of TV shows you watch, the type of influencers that you follow. Like if you go on my Instagram page, you like you will see I follow like dark
yeah.
skinned women. I follow like everything like pro like people that look like
Wow.
me. I follow like
Yeah,
positive vibes. I really just cement myself in environments and situations that really just support the narrative and the fact that we are indeed beautiful. And so
yeah,
and so do that for yourself. And then lastly, I do think that even though this is an individualistic process, I think it should also be a collective process. I think once you have um, gotten to a level of self acceptance, I think share that love, share that self acceptance with other people so that we can all
yeah.
be charged, so that we can all get into the light and into the beauty of who we truly are. Um,
Amen.
and that's it. Those are my closing statements. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you, Khalai, my partner,
Ooh,
my right
partnering.
hand.
Thank you, thank you. I think we've done this topic justice.
Yes, I think so too.
So once
Until
again,
next time.
sorry.
No, I was like, until next time.
Yeah, until next time. Please, we have our channel. We have other videos. If you're interested in any of the other topics we've discussed, feel free to visit our channel. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Kiliki, for being such a good co-host.
Thank you too for being such an amazing, special co host. Good
Thanks. Have a good evening, guys.
evening. Bye. Now I need to figure out how to stop this and then save it on YouTube. But anyways, wait,
All the
don't log out. Let me first try and end it from my side and see
Okay,
what happens.
sure.
So end stream. I think I should end stream. There's Leave Studio, but I'm not sure. I think I should end stream.
And yeah, I think end the stream.
Okay. End stream. Yes. Okay.